Hi everyone, welcome to the JavaScript interview preparation course, chapter 4. And in today's video, we are going to see about the most important topic that is being asked in JavaScript interview question are closures. So these are very important topics, and you must be knowing this before going to appear in any interview for front-end or JavaScript. So, so first of all, let's talk what is closure. So let me take you to the MDN documentation of JavaScript closures. So here it is written that a closure is a combination of a function bundled together with reference to its surrounding state. In other words, so this is the technical term. Just forget about this. Let's see what it is written here. In other words, a closure gives a function access to its outer scope. In JavaScript, closures are created every time a function is created at function creation time. What does it means that uh, let's take an example here. It will be clear. Uh, Comment this out. So you can see here that there is a function named as print, right? And inside that function, you also created another function named a display name, and this is basically displaying the name of the variable that is being declared in the outer function. So what is written here that uh, a closer gives a function access to its outer function, means whenever you declare a function inside another function, a closure is created, and this closure helps you to access the variable of the outer function. So when you created this function and created this variable named as name, and as soon as you create a function here, you a closure is created and you gain the access of this variable named as name, right? So in layman term, this is called closure, right? And let's see what you are getting printed when you call this function. So again, let me call this again. So you can see here you are getting the access of the variable named Pankaj here, right? So how you are getting the access of the variable of this function's local scope with the help of closure only. For another example, let's take this example as, so here what you did that you created a function my function, right? And inside that function you have created a variable named as name, and also you are declaring another function called as display name here, right? This display name function is itself a closure, and due to the closure creation of closure, it is getting the access of the all the variables of this outer function, right? So what will happen here is that uh, when you are calling this make function, and this function returning the inner function that is display name, you can also call it as closure. Just for naming convention, you are calling that return function as closure, means you are calling this function as closure. And when you call this closure function, when you call this closure, what you will get is you will get printed Mozilla, right? This example is given in the this documentation itself. Here you can see that, you can see here that when you called this make function here, right, after returning this display name function, this function is executed completely, the outer function, right? Despite that outer function is inactive, you are getting access of its variables inside the inner function. This is happening only due to closures, right? But I wanted to say that when you let's cancel this out, right? Let's say when you are calling this make function here, right? You call this function and stored its variable, stored its return variable in a variable called closure, right? Now the execution of this function is completed, right? Again, when you call this closure, that is a function itself, you are getting value printed as Mozilla. Why? Despite this outer function is inactive, you are getting the access of its variable inside it, just because of closure. Mark this out, and this is very important for interview, JavaScript interviews. So so this was the basic understanding of closures. Now let's move out to the concept that why do we use closures. So now let's talk about why do we use closure. So closure make it possible for a function to have private variables. In JavaScript, closure is used to control what is and what isn't in scope in a particular function, along with which variables are shared between sibling functions in same containing scope. What does it mean that let's say you declare a variable named var a is equal to 45, right? And let's say you are declaring a function my function, and here let's say you are also declaring another variable named as b, and inside this you are creating a closure function print, and let's say you are again declaring a variable named as uh, c is equal to 89, and okay, clg, here you are what you are doing is you are printing c here, right? Now if you want, if you, uh, let's first call this function my fun. Okay, okay, let me call this here also, this function also. Okay, now you can see here that we got the value as 89 here, which means that this variable named c is scoped to this inner function only. If you want to print this value outside of this function, let's say what happened. So here you can say that we are getting reference here error that c is not defined. So c is scoped to this function only. Let's say if you want to console b here. So again, you can see that you are actually getting the value of b. Why? Because due to the closure, this function is able to access the value of its outer function scope. So let me write some comment here. This is local scope. This is called as outer function scope, and this is called as global scope. Let's say you want to access the global variable here a. Obviously, you will get a here also, a as 45, right? So in this way the closure works. So another application of closure is for time optimization. So let's understand this with an example. Let's say you created a function find, and inside this function you have created an empty array, and again in this function you are running a loop for loop which is again going from 0 to 1 million times. This is just to increase the time of execution of this function. And again, let's say, let's comment this out. So you can, and we are consoling printing this value as a as index. This function is actually taking parameter index as parameter, and again this loop will run for 1 million times, and then again we are consoling this value at that in particular index. So here what we have done is we have consoled the time end for execution of this function for each parameter. Let's say we are calling this function with 6, and we have printed the time for that calculation. So here you can see that for 6 it's taking 38 millisecond, right? Around 38 milliseconds. For 50 it's taking 56 milliseconds, around 56 milliseconds. Now here if you want, this is a lot of time in programming languages, right? So if you want to decrease this time using closure, what you can do here is you created a function inside this function only, and in this function is what we have shown. So this function is called as closure, what we have seen above, and let's store this closure inside a variable named closure. And now if you call this closure and check the time for its execution, it will drastically change. Now you can see here it's almost 0 millisecond, and for 50 also it's almost 0 millisecond. So you could see here that using closures you are actually decreasing the time for execution of the same code via almost, you can say, 1 by 50th or 1 by 60th of the time what we had seen before. So this was the best application of closure that we can use. So again, this was the application of the closure. Now let's talk about the closure scope chain. So here you can see in the documentation also they have provided about closure scope chain. Closure scope chain, yeah, right here. So what they have written here is that a nested functions access to outer function scope include the enclosing scope of the outer function, effectively creating a chain of function scopes. So in layman terms, let's understand this with the help of example code. So let's say you have declared a global variable here, let's say e, right? Now you have declared a function sum, and you are getting taking a as a parameter, and again you are returning a function b. This base, so again I must say that this function is known as anonymous function, the function without any name. So this returning an anonymous function that taking b as parameter, again that function is returning another anonymous function taking c as parameter, right? Then again a function with d as parameter, and at the end this function is returning a plus b plus c plus d plus e. So here you can see that uh, this function is getting access of the variable outside of it. So this is again happening due to closures, and this way of coding or chaining is known as closure scope chaining, right? uh, this is a closure function, right? And this is getting the access, this function, this function is actually getting the access of c variable, b variable, a variable, and again e variable. Let's see what's the value of this function. So when we call this function with parameter a, so here 1 will come at the place of a, 2 will come at the place of b, 3 will come at the place of c, and d will come at the place of d. And e is again the global variable whose value is 10. So let's see what's its value. So here you can see that the value is 20. So the main agenda of this example code was to make you understand about the closure scope chain, how this closure chaining helps you to access the multiple variables outside of its scope. So you can say that this was the another application of closure, right? So let's understand one more question. uh, so here, okay, let's don't call this function here. So this is a count variable here, and this is an if function that we have discussed in our previous video. You can watch by going to the playlist of the JavaScript that I have provided. So this is an if function called print count, and here is a condition that if count is equal to 0, and again here we are creating this same variable named as count, and that's equal to 1. So we have seen in our previous video that this is known as shadowing. This this count is actually shadowing this global count here, and if you will print this count here, what do you know that you only will get this count value here, because this is its local scope. And again if you will print count here, you will definitely get the global count value, that is 0, because this count has no significance outside of this scope. And here what you will get is 1 only, because this has shadowed the value of this count, global count. So let's call this function here. So you can see here that first we are getting 1, and at the end we are getting 0. So this was simple about understanding the scope and closures in JavaScript. So I hope you must have understand the closure, and again I will say that I must have left some topics out, so you can go to the MDN documentation of closures for JavaScript, and you can study from here for diving deep into the concept. So thank you, this was all about in this video, and hope you must have learned something new. So thanks.